Hey everyone, and welcome back to Fine Print. This is your host, Shreya Deo, and today, after a short break in our uploads, we're back with another episode of the Fireside Chats, where we converse with individuals about history, politics, current affairs, and everything in between. On today's episode, we have a very special guest and my brother, Om Deo. Om is a 9-year-old who loves to study wildlife, draw, and play cricket and golf. Today, we will be discussing the history of the sport of golf and how socio-economic barriers were blurred thanks to this sport. Join us and tune in to our conversation, only on Fine Print. All right, welcome Om. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's good to hear. So, thank you for coming on the show. Let's get started with the questions. So, my first question is, how do you think playing so many different sports before golf has helped you when you're actually playing golf? Like, does it help to have a background in playing cricket? And I know you play basketball for fun. You've done swimming. Do all those things help
Yeah,
you with golf? And how do they
yeah.
help?
So in cricket, the batting when you're batting in cricket, it helped me with the power and the swing in golf. And when I'm bowling, it helped me with the arm strength and hitting the ball far. And in fielding, it helped me like focusing on the ball. Because in cricket, you focus on the ball because you're trying to catch it. And in golf, you're also trying to like focus on the ball.
Yeah, and I think it's very helpful to have all those experiences when you're playing another sport. And not just for sports. I think it helps to have so many different experiences in anything. Last year, I read a
Yeah,
book where they spoke about the journeys of Roger Federer and Tiger Woods. And they talked about how Roger Federer played multiple different sports until he was in his late teens, which is when he actually started to play tennis. So that's a very broad generalist mentality, pursuing so many different things and then focusing on one,
yeah,
kind of like what you're doing. And Tiger
yeah.
Woods, he was much the opposite. Since he was a
Yeah,
baby, his
he just
dad
played
used
like
to,
one sport.
yeah, he was only focused on one sport. And they both are really good players. But a lot of people debate on which one is better, which is the better approach, being a generalist, trying all these different things, or being a specialist like Tiger Woods and only doing one thing. So, do you think either is better than the other, or do you think we need a mix of both?
I think both of them are good because if you play one sport like Tiger Woods, then it helps you focus on that only sport. But if you're the other player, then if he played a lot of sports, it helps you with the golf because it like you have experience of playing a sport.
Yes, I 100% agree with you. So, from hearing what you said, I think you would say that it's helped you to play so many different sports now that you do play golf. And
Yeah.
I think again, like I said, that doesn't just apply to sports. I think it applies to everything in life. You should always keep trying new things, and then you can choose to do one thing more than the other. But having all these experiences really helps. So, now moving on to our second question. For those of our listeners who aren't familiar with golf or don't understand how it works, can you explain the basics? Like, how do you play it? What's the goal when you play golf? And then, what's your favorite and least favorite part of playing the sport?
So for the basics of golf, the the like bar, like if it says one bar four, if you get like then bar means how many chances you have to get the ball in the hole in. So if you get on the first try, that doesn't happen often, but if you get it on the first try, then you get it. Like it's like really good. If you get it on the second try, it's called the eagle. If you get it like one under par, so like if you get on the third try on a par four, it's called a birdie. If you get exactly like on par four, if you get a ball in the hole in four chances, it's called par, like because you got it on the par. And if you get one above, two above, three above, four above, it's called double bogey, triple bogey, quadruple bogey.
So the goal is to get as less, as under the par as you can. So
Yeah,
bogeys are bad, eagle is really good, and then
yeah.
birdie is also pretty good. Okay,
And I don't know what you call it if you get on the first one,
but
but it's really good.
if you get it on the first par,
If you get on the first try,
oh
that's
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
good.
Like
I don't know what that's called.
yeah, does that happen pretty often or is that pretty rare?
It's like rare.
Okay, and then coming back to our question, what's your favorite and least favorite part of playing the sport?
So my least favorite part of playing golf is when you have to iron because I'm not that good at ironing because like I hit before the ball, not on the ball, like not under it. And my favorite part is putting and driving.
Would you say putting is your favorite because you're good at it or you just enjoy putting?
I enjoy it and I'm good at it because I like the calculating of the putting on the putting green because all you have to do is roll the ball into the hole and you have to calculate how much it's going to turn. And driving, I'm good at it. That's why I like it.
So it's a combination. You both enjoy it and you like the focus and the precision that it requires.
Yeah,
I remember when I came to one of your golf tournaments, I noticed that as you move closer to the flag, um, it's less about your strength and more about your focus. So like the first shot, you have to get it really far with the driver.
yeah,
But then after that, like especially with chipping and putting, it's a lot about focus and calculating. Like I saw a lot of those kids,
yeah,
they were pausing and they were taking a few seconds to see like
yeah,
what the leg of the shot was and stuff like that. So is that the part of it that you enjoy?
yeah. It's hard, but I like it.
Okay, so I want to move on to the historical part of it, just moving away from the basics of golf a little bit. So when golf first started back in history, who were the types of people that could play it? Like, was there a specific gender that could play it? Or was there a specific race that could play it? And how
Yeah,
has that changed to become more inclusive? Like, are there more people that are allowed to play it today?
yeah. So for the gender, women were not allowed to play that time because the men thought that it's like the women stayed in the house and did it for their people, and the men would do whatever they want and go outside and do everything. But and in the race, like black people played a little less, and white people they got to play more because they thought that black people were like poor and they couldn't play it. And that time rich people could play more than poor people, and like that's what's called the gentleman's game.
So basically, there was a lot of gender discrimination early, like back in the days, and then there was also
Yeah,
racial discrimination. And that limited a lot of groups from playing golf because even if they were good, they were never allowed onto the field because they were perceived to be bad. And I think also whenever I mention to people that, oh, my brother plays golf, or even if you mention golf to anybody, their first reaction is, oh, isn't that for rich people? Or isn't that fancy? And I I would say that today it's not as accurate because, you can get a very diverse range of clubs. Not all of them are super expensive. But back in the day, the membership for the golf courses to be able to play for an hour or so was very expensive. Or to be able to afford the clubs, that was also very expensive. So I think kind of building off of what you said, golf initially was restricted to a very small group of people, but today, I think we see so much diversity. Uh, I remember when I came to one of your practices, I saw so many different types of people playing. There was a little girl that was just practicing her shot. There was an older man that, you might not think he's the most fit, yet he was able to play golf because it's not super physically demanding. And I think that's something really nice about golf. Okay, I want to kind of build off of what we were speaking about just now. Why do you think golf is called the gentleman's game?
Because like that time women couldn't play because they stayed in the house, but they could actually do it. They could actually play golf, but even if they were good at golf, they could still not play it.
So, what a lot of people consider the gentleman's game to be a positive term could actually also be considered gender discriminating as well, the fact that women were not allowed to play. And I mean, what I read is that it's called the gentleman's game because, there's the custom of shaking hands with the opponent. There's no physical confrontation, as in other sports. They're always, you're going to find them arguing on the field or doing something like that. But in golf, I've always seen respect. I remember when we came to watch your tournament, it was pin drop silence.
While somebody is playing, you had to be really quiet to let them focus.
Exactly.
And
And
when I was not playing, my dad, when he was playing, I was like talking about how many yards there are, but he kept telling me not to talk so he could focus.
yeah, and I think that's something really nice about golf. And I think that's why it's called the gentleman's game. There's a lot of respect for the opponent, even if, they are your opponent. There's still that line of respect that, okay, this person's playing, we need to stay quiet. And I think that kind of came from that custom of it being the sport of the upper class. You know, they didn't believe in fist fighting or, punching each other or doing stuff like that. It was a very
Yeah,
clean, polished, respectable sport. However, like you mentioned, gentle men's game can also be seen as a bad thing because where's the gentle woman? You know? Um,
yeah.
so I think there's two ways you can interpret that term and good and bad. So yeah. And my last question for you today, before we move on to the rapid fire, I know that's everyone's favorite part. It's been everyone's favorite part so far. So
Yeah, I
since
like it.
golf is an individual sport, it's not a team sport. Do you think that makes it easier to play or harder? Meaning, is it easier to have the only competition you have as yourself
Yeah.
because you're just trying to get better, or um, like team sports, you're trying to get better than other people. It's all based on ranking. So which one do you think is easier?
So, and like, I think both of them are good because in cricket, there are people playing also with you. So, like, whenever they're playing, like, while they're batting, then you get to rest in that stadium or the crowd, wherever the players sit. But in golf, I think that's also good because you get to focus on the ball and not anything else. So I think that's why both of them are good.
Yeah, so you would say it really depends on how the individual is. Like some people are very good at focusing. And I remember we watched that movie, um, The Greatest Game Ever Played. And in that, there was a professional golfer. Every time he used to come um, for his turn, everything, like the whole audience, everything around him just used to disappear. And all he would see is just a big empty field. He would see his forefathers. And
Yeah.
I think that level of focus that's in golf, I haven't seen it in any other sport. There's always so much noise. There's a loud audience. There's nowadays, games have advertisements, they have cheerleaders, and
Yeah, like that's why there's like if you win a tournament, like if they see you focusing a lot, they give you the Varden trophy. Because Harry Varden, he was like the king of focus in golf.
oh, the king of folk. Is that what they actually called him, or did you make that name up?
I made it up.
Oh, like that level of focus I think is very important for anybody to be good at golf. I think it's even more important than how strong you are, how far you can hit the ball. Because if you don't have focus, there's not much you can do, even if you can get the ball super far.
Yeah, like if you're thinking if your ball is going to go in the water, then it's actually going to go in the water. But if you're focusing and getting the ball in the flag, then it's really good because then you're thinking of getting it in the flag and it will happen.
Hmm. So just manifesting, the mental aspect of the game. is very important. Okay, now we're going to move on to the most awaited section of our interview today, the rapid fire. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so here's the first question. If you could play golf with any famous golfer from history, who would it be?
I think Seve by Staros,
What's your favorite golf club?
the putter.
Golf played with a hockey stick or hockey played with a golf club? Which would you rather play?
Golf played with a hockey stick.
What's your favorite golf movie?
The greatest game ever played.
I really like that one. And coming from someone who does not understand golf, I still understood it. So I would definitely recommend anyone to watch that movie, The Greatest Game Ever Played. Okay, what's worse, hitting from a bunker or losing your ball in the water?
Losing your ball in the water.
Okay, if there was a documentary made about you playing golf, what would it be called?
The greatest swing of
The Greatest
Deo.
Swing of Om Deo. Sounds majestic. Okay, now what you're gonna do is you're gonna build your own historical figure. So I'm gonna give you a scenario, and you're just gonna use different personality traits of different historical figures to make the perfect golfer. So you're the king of a large sea-based empire. You are challenged by a rival king over a small piece of land. The challenge is to win a golf duel. As king, you are to build the perfect golfer using different aspects of historical figures. So here's your first question. Whose judgment or whose planning would you want to take? George Washington or Franklin D. Roosevelt?
Franklin D. Roosevelt.
I don't know. I think I might pick. Well, they both are very good planners. If you think about George Washington, he founded the country. So, I mean, 100% he's a good planner. But also FDR during the Great Depression, I mean, he was president for 4 terms, he didn't finish his fourth term, but almost 16 years. And he got us out of the Great Depression. So I think they both are good planners. One is a good political planner and one is a good economic planner. Whose patience would you want? Nelson Mandela or Gautam Buddha?
Buddha.
Yeah,
Because he's like very good at patience and he does a lot of meditation.
yes, the very peaceful. He's always in nirvana. So,
Yeah,
and
and I
that's what
don't
we're
know
talking
much
about.
about Nelson Mandela.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's why I picked Buddha also.
Well, I would pick Buddha as well. I think that level of focus is what you need for golf. So, all right, whose confidence would you want? Alexander the Great or Queen Elizabeth?
Alexander the Great.
And lastly, whose energy would you want? Teddy Roosevelt or Napoleon?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt. Okay, that's pretty valid. We in uh European history, we just learned about Napoleon. And let me tell you, that man was jumping left, right, center, invading all these countries. First, he wanted to be the Emperor of France. Then he said, no, I want to be the Emperor of all of Europe. And then he crowned himself Emperor of France. He didn't even ask anyone. It was like, hey, do you want me to be Emperor of France? No, no. He just crowned himself Emperor. And he used to go with his horse everywhere. There's a picture of him on his horse like this. But it's pretty majestic. I think I would pick Napoleon. But maybe that's because I just learned about him and I'm kind of biased. But yeah, that was an energetic man. I mean, never once read about him sleeping. He was always galloping somewhere, trying to invade someone. Today, we had Om Deo on the show, and we spoke about the history of golf and the socio-economic changes that have come with the sport. Om, how did you like the conversation today?
It was good. My favorite part was the rapid fire questions.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed the rapid fire. And quick plug, I will recommend everyone to go watch that movie we both were talking about. What was it, Om?
The greatest game ever played.
Yes, that's a very good movie. Even if you don't understand golf, like me, I think you should still go watch it. It really explores the history and kind of what we were talking about today, about how different players, regardless of how rich or poor they were, could come and play on a common playing field. And I think that's very important for us to learn today, regardless of what your background is, regardless of what your situation is. And especially in sports, we see that today. So it's a very good thing. But yeah, it's an amazing movie. I think you guys should go check it out. And yeah, that's the end of our episode today. If you haven't checked out the previous episodes of the Fireside Chats, be sure to check those out. Until then, keep listening to Fine Print on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you're listening from, and keep reading between the lines.